This video is about the Dark Age landmarks of the village of Cold Aston and Knott Grove in Gloucestershire.
This sin the land gemera to Aston. Arrest on Turken Willes Hefde, and long strata on Kunelmes staan, on Millenway, and long ridges on Hertford. And Aston today is Cold Aston in Gloucestershire, Gloucestershire, and Glawan is an English substitution that means something different to the old Celtic Welsh name, and I apologise to any Welsh speakers, something along the lines of Glawa, which means the fortification of brightness, and Gloucestershire would therefore be the division of the fortification of brightness, which is a nice name for a county. It's not just Eastern, this Anglo-Saxon estate I'm doing today, and it's not the only Welsh word as well. It is the estate also includes Knott Grove, Narton Graven, which means wet grove. It doesn't mean anything to do with nuts. Nut in Old English is knut, with an H on the front, which we were quite fond of doing. This is a nice part of the charter, and it starts off Arrest on Turken Willes Hefde, on long strata on Kunelmes staan, on Millenway. So that's the first few boundary markers, and Turken Willes is the dean of Turk Dean. Willes means stream, so it's the stream. It may well have been called the Turk Stream at some point, or Turkan. And our old friend the Strat, we have a Roman road, except this one is like a few of the Roman roads I've done recently, isn't your classic straight line. So we're probably looking at B roads. And even better than that, we're probably looking at something prehistoric, because this is definitely a ridgeway. It avoids extremely well all of the wet patches, wells, springs, rivers, and heads from A to B, wending its way as efficiently as it can on the highest ground that it could. So this is today the A436 or A456, well, whatever, anyway, and it is, because it uses the word strata, the Anglo-Saxon thought of it as a Roman road. And then it says another lovely old road name. It says before then, it says basically on Kunelmes staan. So we have an Anglo-Saxon stone, and yes, I have gone to have a look. My hit rate for hitting Anglo-Saxon stones is very low. Not massively low, I've got one or two of them. But he's gone, and he's marked on the OS map, the stone. There's a little shape to denote a stone on that junction of that road. It's there no longer, so probably within the sort of last 3 or 4 or 5 generations, somebody's taken it away in a lorry or a cart. So that's just, well, it's disappointing, I'm used to it, but then it says from there down to the Millenway, and that is the road to the left of me, because I like to do country walks for you, for my own happiness. I'm walking parallel to the road along a cart track, heading to Harford, and I'll go onto that in a minute. Harford has a river on it, which has another Welsh name. We have another Welsh river. reached 1,000 subscriptions on YouTube, and so I'd like to thank those who've supported me, those who've subscribed. It's an important milestone for a YouTube antiquarian, well, YouTuber of all sorts. I'd particularly like to thank Darren from WC21 Productions, Tweedy from Tweedy Outdoors. We've been supporting each other for the last couple of years, and thank you to, more recently, thank you to Paul Whitewick, who has pointed me out to his subscribers and did a video with me, and that was very kind of him. So I've now reached well over 1,000 now. Yeah, thank you. We're coming to a place which in modern English I could pronounce Harford. Notice that there's two R's in there and I didn't pronounce either of them. That's because I'm Southern English, I'm non-rhotic. But in Old English those R's were pronounced, and also some letters that have disappeared from it today. So in our Saxon Charter it says go down the ridge, the ridges, on the Milan way to, and please forgive me for this pronunciation, Hayort forward. And I have particular problems not just with the R's, I have to try and trill them. My wife's Indian, she trills every R, and Scottish people trill their R's as well. It's the EO ligature which causes me problems, and Simon Roper's done a video recently, about an hour long, of how to pronounce a lot of Old English. In fact, it's pretty comprehensive. I'd say just about all of Old English. Simon, are you any good at hedgerow plants? And he talks about rounding taking the EO and rounding your lips at the end. So how. Hayort forward. And Hayort is a stag, and today that comes down to us as a hart. So think of the White Hart pub, White Hart Lane. It's a male deer, and we're going down to it now. So the charter goes on to say, on Millen Way, Thonna and Long Ridges on Hayort Ford. And that gives us quite a lot of information. One, Millen Way is the way to the mill, so there was a mill down here at this ford. Two, to take the ridge so we can see which road the charter went along. Thirdly, we get to see through the eyes of people 1400 years ago. Bear in mind, this is I think 640 or 670, something like that, AD. This is not that long after the end of the Roman Empire. And so they thought of this place as being the ford of the deer, of the stag. And that tells us a very great deal about how they felt about the landscape. So this is hedge has been, there's been an attempt at hedge laying here. So you can see the stakes, yeah, over there, and what they've done is laid the stalks along this way, and then the next year up come new shoots like this, which are, and that should make it stock-proof, but they haven't maintained it. But you can see behind barbed wire. But it's a clear example of what people are trying to do with hedge laying. This is Wildflowers, Harford today, Lower Harford, and it's basically just a farm, and but a very pretty one, and I can hear where the water has been narrowed, been funneled, and that would have driven a mill. I think they call it a leat or something like that. The river that it's on is described only as Stremes in the Old English Charter. But the Charter of Bourton-on-the-Water, which is over there, a very pretty town, it touches this river on part of its boundary, and it calls it the Windrush, and that's not English. It comes out later on. We turn it. The English turn it into English as they turn it into two English words, Windrush. So this is the River Windrush, and there are other Old English charters that talk of it, and there's various variations, sort of Wainrick and things like that. It's the English trying to put their tongues around a word that's foreign to them. But it is a Welsh word, a Romano-British word, probably before Romano-British, therefore a Welsh word. And well, it's a compound of two, and it's white. It means white rushes or white muddy place. I favour rushes, not just because of the sound. It's very, very similar to English. It's I think it's riesco or something like that in British, old Romano-British, but it is, and you hear that when again is, if you watch any of my other videos, you know I've done some on Bedwin, and the river Bedwyndan, is an English word that is based on a Welsh word for the river. Is also, you know, a remnant of Romano-British, prehistoric British culture here, and that is white birch, and so the win of that and the wen of this mean the same thing, white. But it also has meanings for us, because it's an iconic name, not because of the river itself, but because of a boat that came over from the Caribbean in the 1960s or 50s. It's really important to black culture, British black culture, the Empire Windrush. And very few people know where the word Windrush comes from. There were several boats named after British rivers, and this one was named after this river. So I was thinking the other day that there was no English word for river. I'd say there's lots of Old English words for stream, bournes, things like that. Burn, beck, but nothing for a full-size river. Until I remember there's air, and which doesn't really survive in English anymore, except for I think there's quite an old. It's a modern word, but it's majorly out of fashion. which means a small island, an iot. But I thought I'd mention it. This is a proper river. It's just high up, so it is yet to build its size up. But it joins the Thames, and it's very much part of the sort of landscape culture of this area. So that's it for today. The sun's going down. Didn't quite go as far as I wanted to go, but nonetheless, I'm going to come back again. So we'll call that part one. There is ahead of us Turkdene, Turken Wulas. We're going to have a look at that, see if that's any good. There's also a couple of things that sound suspiciously like barrows. Going to have a look at them as well. So thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for all the support you've given me the last couple of years. I'm really chuffed. And if you like this one, the inhuman, vomit-inducing non-mind of the algorithm is trying to recommend you this one. So please watch that one. Thank you very much. Ta-ra for now.